Welcome to the Singing Studio podcast, Singers. So today we are going to be talking about head voice and falsetto. My name is Jessica Ford, Brea Sands.
Hello.
We are vocal coaches at the Singing Studio. And obviously, you can see I've got some of my American Idols here in The Voice, and Brea has auditioned for American Idol as well. So we have a lot of experience. For me, 20 years, for her, 5. Isn't that awesome? 20 years. Like, okay, that means I'm old. That
Wow.
means I'm old. All right. So today we're going to talk
Oh,
about
stop.
head voice and falsetto. So, what I want to say first is that there is a difference between falsetto and head voice, and a lot of people think that's the same thing, and it is. But there is actually a difference in the way that the vocal cords act and behave. So far, are you with me?
I'm with you.
Okay, I love it. I love it. All right. So when you use a falsetto, the outside of the vocal folds are vibrating and it's lighter and airier. Head
Mm,
voice, which essentially is kind of the same thing, which is the weird part, right? Head voice is when we have a more forward air pressure and better vocal fold connection.
mm.
But they're the same thing. Isn't that weird? But they're not the same
Yeah,
thing. So every vocal coach is like, oh, your head voice, falsetto, boys only
yeah,
falsetto. Girls, no, girls don't have a falsetto,
that's,
right? You've heard that
yeah,
before? Girls do have a
yeah.
falsetto. We know because of x-rays and scoping and all the fun things. So that is actually
Mm,
debunked. We're debunked.
okay,
So there is a difference. So in our technique, I'm going to talk to you like you're the student today. In our
okay.
technique, everybody, um, to me, airy falsetto is in the back, and or a true falsetto would be more like a classical vibe. So it's very much in the back. Can you do that, Bria?
Mm,
Do that with me, Bria. See how it's there's a little air in there. Do you feel how it's a nice balanced tone, but it's airier, it's lighter?
mm-hmm.
So that is when it's up in the back is a more classical head voice falsetto.
Mm,
When we bring it forward, woo, do that for
mm-hmm.
me.
Woo! Yeah.
Right?
Okay, okay.
Right? So now we have that's the difference between falsetto and head voice to me. However, you and I both know you can still have an airy head voice in the front.
Yes, yes,
Ah, which,
yes.
yes. Okay. Thoughts on what I'm saying so far?
It is all making perfect sense to me because
Mhm.
as I sing through my head voice, for me it really depends on that resonance and that vibration forward when especially when it's more on the airy side. I'm like, I don't like how airy it is. I don't have as much control or power. I'll put a
Yeah.
little bit more of that resonance there. So technically, in a way, so what you're saying, that resonance is actually bringing me more into a falsetto. Is that what you mean by that?
If it's airy,
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Right? A true falsetto is airy
Okay. Okay.
because the outside of the vocal folds are vibrating.
Okay.
When
Okay.
it's more head voice, it's you have more of the vocal folds resonating, vibrating, right? And you
Mm-hmm.
have better balance of air pressure, which gives you a
Mm,
fuller, more consistent tone.
okay. Okay.
So if I am, I don't know, like I'm Mariah Carey and I cannot even sing like her because I don't have all that head register stuff. But if I'm like Mariah Carey or something and I want to do a breathy little run, I'm going to go into a falsetto.
Oh, yeah.
Right? That which could still be very pop. It doesn't have to be classical.
Ah,
Right?
yeah. Yeah.
Ah, ah.
Okay.
Falsetto.
Oh,
Commercial
okay.
falsetto.
Commercial falsetto.
But my head voice is going to have more tone,
Yee.
right?
Okay.
So go breathy on me, go falsetto.
Ah.
Falsetto, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But they're both
Okay.
your head voice, right? Isn't that weird? So
Right. It's yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
confusing, confusing. A lot of people are like, oh, that's the same thing, right? And why
Right.
is there a difference? And it's very confusing.
Mm-hmm.
Falsetto and head voice are the exact same thing, but your vocal folds are doing something different to make a different sound.
Yes,
But you're
yes.
sharing the same space, which is placement four,
Yes.
right?
Okay. Okay. So both of those fall under the umbrella of placement four. Which, real quick, for people that aren't um, in the singing studio, do you want to go ahead and
You
explain the
go, you
placement?
go. One, two,
All
three,
right.
four.
All
Give
right. So placement one is going to be our chest voice. Placement two is our mouth voice. Placement three is our nasal cavity. Placement four is our head voice. We separate the technique by, well, how would you say it? By class, or what would
placements,
you say?
placements. Yeah.
Placements, like literally where you place it.
Yeah.
Um, so that what you just described will fall under the placement four, which is the head voice range. Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
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 So if a vocal coach in the outside world, other than us, is like placement four, that's because that's my technique. She teaches my technique. And wherever you are. And yeah, and that is right. And so that's why they might not know what placement four is. So
Uh-huh.
you're only going to
Mm-hmm.
use that here with us. And so I always understood that even chest and mouth voice is very different.
Mm-hmm.
You want to get into that really quick? Because that's kind of like a thing for placement. So,
Yeah.
really quickly, my chest voice, ha, hey, that's
Yeah.
my chest voice, but I don't talk like that. So then
Hmm.
I talk up here, right?
Interesting. You
Right.
do? Oh, wow.
I
You
don't,
do.
do you talk like that?
No, I do.
Okay. I don't,
No, I feel like I talk in my chest voice a lot, especially
okay.
if I'm just giving like, yeah,
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Maybe in the morning,
oh yeah,
right? Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Okay. So with that said, that is a separate placement to me. So, hi, how are you today?
yes,
Is
yes,
different than hey, right?
yeah.
So I separate those. So that's why that's placement one is chest and placement two is my speaking voice.
Mm-hmm.
So it's my speech, right? Hi, hi. Wherever I talk,
Right.
that's
That's a
placement two.
comfortable range for you,
That's also
for
going to
most
be
people.
your money notes. Those are the best
Yes,
notes, right? Those are the
we
goodies, right?
love placement too.
Yes, 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 yes. We all kind of want to live in placement too. As we get higher in our head, it gets harder to hit
Mm-hmm.
on pitch unless you get it up into placement three,
Yep, you pull it forward into
right?
that mask. Yep.
Yeah. And then you have your falsetto or head voice, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like if you were a student, questions so far, because I'm sure the people watching at home are probably like, I have some questions. Are you good? Does it make sense? Pretend you don't know the voice.
Pretend I don't know the voice. Um, I guess if I were to just like stumble upon this, I guess go back to why would people say for guys it's more falsetto, for girls it's more head voice, and like does that still have a bearing on? I know you said that it doesn't, but like I guess if you were to look at it from that perspective, why would that be the case? So for example, I think of do you know that song? You might not know it. It's by Usher. It's just like the first song that I thought of. It's like going out with us. So that one, like
Okay.
I feel like he's definitely in his falsetto with that one.
Ooh, is it
Versus like if he was,
airy
I don't think it is.
or is
Like
it a mix voice?
it sounds mixy. Yes.
Let's talk about the difference between.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So now we're getting into something else. So let's
Okay.
say falsetto, open palate is in the back.
Mhm.
Right? Classical. If I
Mhm.
bring my air more forward, woo, now I've got a commercial head voice, right?
Mhm.
Because we don't
Mhm.
want to sound like that in commercial music. So we
Mhm.
we tend to bring it more forward unless it's breathy. Right? So you've got
Mhm.
like a breathy head voice forward still. It's not open in the back. My self palate is very open for classical at all times.
Mhm. Yep.
So we've got a
Yep.
different palate situation going on there. And then, of course, we have air pressure forward.
Yeah.
Now, before I digress and lose my train of thought again,
No, you're good. The placement three, bring it forward. Is it? I think you're going into
mix,
mix. Yeah.
mix,
Yes.
mix, head voice mix, and head voice share the same space on the piano. They share the
Mm,
same space in your registers. Okay, now
Yeah.
that's head voice mix, not mouth mix, and we'll get into that.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Right?
Okay.
There's a
I
difference.
know I'm not tripping because I'll be teaching this during my sessions, and I'm
Yeah,
like, it's,
I know. I know.
it could be. It, really, in my opinion, it depends on the route they want to take. You could do more of a head voice mix, or you could, or not even head, I guess, falsetto in a way, or you can go the route of mixing. I personally like the mixing route, especially when I want a little more oomph, a little more power
Okay.
to it, right?
Mix is forward
Yeah.
dominant head voice
Mm-hmm.
mixed with chest compression.
Mm.
So I do have a little chest compression when I'm in a forward head voice anyway. Eee! But I actually
Yeah.
feel it more connection here. I can feel my vocal folds connecting.
Yeah.
Eee! Right? But if
Yeah.
I want to mix in another placement, three, yeah! Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now I've got a mixed voice. Yeah! Yeah!
Mm-hmm.
Right? And now I've added
Yeah.
compression and support to it to give it more volume, which gives this sort of really high, crazy, belty vibe.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
they share the same space.
Right.
Piano. So mix is placement 3 and 4. You're mixing two placements and
Yes.
adding in chest compression.
Mm.
But to me, yes, go ahead.
So you then what you're saying is you can't mix placement 1 and 2.
Yes, you can.
See?
Yes, you
Oh.
can. And
Okay.
this is where our technique, this is so good because I know people are like, what? I don't understand.
Oh,
So
whoa.
in the outside world, it's just called mix.
Yes.
Brea, you know how you're in your mouth voice and it's mix and you're mixing 2 and 3, or you're kind of like, ah, and you're kind
Yes.
of, you're getting
Yes.
like it's not belty and you're getting up in there, right?
Yeah.
You know how you still hit that ceiling and you got to go into a head voice mix?
Yes.
That's your
Exactly.
second, that's a C above middle C. That is your second break note.
Uh-huh.
Everybody
Uh-huh.
feels it. I don't care who you are. You all know the feeling, right? So you either need to add a lot more chest in there and belt the living snot out of it, or you're going
Right.
to go into a head voice mix.
Or you gonna pull a me.
You're going to have a chest mix or you're going to have a mix, right? A head voice
Yeah.
mix.
Yeah.
So to me, there is different mixings that you can do,
Right. Different
right?
recipes.
Right? So remember, think about it this way. If I'm mixing two placements,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm just not in chest. I might be a
Right.
little up here, but I've got two going on, right?
Right.
If I'm just up here, I probably don't have a lot of chest. So now I'm pretty much just in one placement, hopefully, right?
Right.
And then if
Right.
I get a little nasal on there, now I've got 2 and 3 going on,
Mm,
right? Okay.
yes.
So you
Yes.
can take that up if you're really, really good and you can really, really get it up in there. You can get it to the second break note, maybe beyond if you're a soprano.
Right.
Some people really can create a lot of space and get up in there higher than the second break note. Once you
Yes.
get over that, you've got to get into that mixy head voicey space.
Yeah. You know what? I kind of like to look at it like it's like a scale, right? So you have the bottom, which is like the chest voice,
Yep.
placement 1, and then all of them they blend into each other a little
Yes.
bit. So eventually, you're going to
Yes.
come out of that mix. You're going to be only in placement 2 at a certain point. But as you
Yes.
keep going up through the scale, I
Yes.
feel like you're hitting every single mark, and that's why that also bleeds into transitioning at the right time, right? Am I correct with this?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, yes, yeah. So all of that connected, and then eventually you get all the way to the top head voice. When you're at the top in the rafters of your head voice like that, you're just gonna be in head voice there.
Right. Right.
You eventually gotta just hit like the top. Like you can no longer mix
Yeah,
with that.
you're going to be in like a head voice true falsetto, right? You're
Yeah,
just going to be
yeah,
like up in the stratosphere, which is
yeah,
just placement 4.
yeah. Which is just placement 4. Well, so technically, would the whistle tones be
Hmm. Okay.
that the top?
So you've got another break note for that. So there's 4 break notes.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your first break note is an F above middle C. Your second break note is a C above middle C. So it's C5 for those of you. And then you've got a little 3 note section there to the E. Okay. That E. So that E An octave above that is another E. That is your fourth, which is above that is whistle register.
Ooh.
I have one whistle note. It's the saddest, crunchiest, ugliest whistle note, and all my
Can
students.
do you have the piano on you? Can you go ahead and hit that note?
Let me turn it
Please?
on.
Are you able to?
Oh, I
Because
did have it on.
I just want to hear it.
Okay, I'm turning my keyboard. Okay, so here's your third break now. Okay, can you hear that?
I didn't hear anything.
Because I have
Oh,
that.
there it is. I hear it very lightly.
Okay, let me move the microphone towards it. So this is the fourth break note. Did it come through?
Mm-mm.
Mm-hmm. And it's
Well,
because I have this very special microphone that
oh,
doesn't like the sounds. So
it's
maybe
okay.
we won't
We're
use
trying to
that in the
understand.
future. But anyway, okay,
No, you're good. You're good. But
and it's
continue.
probably because I've got these in. So
Mm-hmm.
anyways,
That's all right.
point is that we'll go back and do that on another podcast. We'll talk
Yeah,
about
that'd be
whistle
good.
register, break
Yeah,
notes. That's another podcast. But today
yeah,
it was just falsetto and obviously head voice and how
yes.
they are the same thing because they share the same space in your head and on the piano. However, your vocal folds are doing something different, which is
Mm,
why they are called something different.